Good morning, everybody. Sorry, let me get a drink of water here before I start gabbing. Yes, there we go. Yet another beauteous morning here in the Gettysburg region of Pennsylvania. And it is the official start of all of the movie festivities and things. And I'm heading into town. Have to edit last night's AG today. Got to gather some mobile recording equipment in case someone will agree to do an interview but doesn't have the time to come to the studio, and then I'll grab them right then and there on the spot for a couple of quick questions. Although it's not my style, it's not really what I'm interested in, but you know, you gotta get what you can get, you know what I'm saying? Paranormal Brew says, love these drives, thank you. Well, thank you, Paranormal Brew. Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Doc James. Eric says, very nice show last night. Thank you. Thank you. Really? We don't as much as we used to. Everybody's getting very busy. We all have a lot of shit going on. And it's, this whole year has been really tough. Just having the time to sit and let your hair down and goof around and have fun. We all have like all these other things that are going on, like moving. You know, I moved the studio this year. I moved my house. I got a dog. You know, all these things that take up your time and your focus. Ronnie was gambling a lot. Don't forget we lost electricity last winter. And when you have those moments of pause and breath from doing something, then people fill that time and focus with other things. And then when you get back to it, it's never quite the same. And even for me. And, you know, and then there's an adjustment of getting used to doing it in a new studio. And, you know, place is important for some people. Some people, it doesn't matter. But for me, it is. Like, you got to adjust to your surroundings before you can really be at home. So I always think really all year when we finish an AD today, I'm like, I'm gonna hate that one. So I'm glad to hear that you thought it was good or nice, as you said, because I never really can tell. In fact, I can't tell because I always think it was the worst thing I ever did, and then everybody's like, that was really good, or that was really nice, or that was funny, or that was this. And then I'm like, all right, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Gail says she's going on a tour with Chad because we do most of our recording in the winter now. So, except for Patreon shows, like Ask a Guides are mostly taken care of by spring. And yeah. So I haven't seen Charlie in a while. And then I'm not down at the Gettysburg location, so when Charlie parks in the morning and walks up to the visitor center to get his tour, he doesn't stop by and see me anymore because I'm not there. So he stops by to say hi to whoever's there, but I'm not one of them. So I have not seen Chaz in a while, and I do enjoy my conversations with Chaz. So please tell him I said hello. Who's that there? 6613 says good morning. Good morning to you. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen that name before, so welcome aboard, as they say. All right, so we're going to go. So there is so much stuff going on, and they have people all over the place. So I think what I'm going to try to do today is edit last night's show, pop it up real quick, and then kind of roam around from place to place and see what I can see. The thing is, I'm not going to really be able to get up close to anyone because there's going to be a swarm of people there. So I'm just going to kind of go and see what I could see. I'm not looking to participate in things as a spectator or audience member or whatever. Although I probably will tomorrow at ACHS throughout the day, because they were kind enough to reserve me spots on all their events, and so I think I'm going to take advantage of that for sure. And I'm also going to join. I was talking about this last night at dinner last night. I said last night twice, but I wanted to emphasize it was last night. Because Veronica and Debbie are members of the ACHS, and I'm like, you know what? Why aren't I a member? Why don't I join these things? I don't know why I don't join these things. Probably because I don't really have the time to participate in anything. So it's like, what am I getting out of it? But then I'm like, well, but it helps them. And there are things that go on that I could certainly take advantage of if I made the time to. So I think I'm going to join there. I'm also going to join the Seminary Ridge Museum Education Center. Ty says, eagerly anticipating your renditions of Motown Philly and End of the Road. Well, I think I'm going to try to talk Veronica into doing One Sweet Day with me. That's really what I should have done. I should have been like, I slapped that together during the day yesterday. I got the idea on the drive in the morning, and I was like, God damn it, why do I always think of these things literally on the day of the show when I have no time to make it good? And so I said, you know what, F it, I'm going to go in there. Anything else I planned on doing today, I'm going to put aside until I get this done. So that's what I did. I went in and I listened to the recording a bunch of times and tried to sing along with it, and I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? These guys were 20 years old when they sang these songs. How the hell am I going to do it? So I just said, well, it's not supposed to be good. It's supposed to be bad for the sake of people cringing and laughing. So let's try it. And I don't know, it took me like 8 takes. And then, so I couldn't get one good take, but with the beauty of editing on a computer, you could take the good parts out of each take and slop them together in one. So that's what I did. And there's still bad parts in the thing. That's a tough song to sing at 45 years old when you're not a singer. And then I got the idea of the still slideshow and the in memoriam theme like an hour before the show. This is why I need a team. You see what I'm saying? Like we could be so much better if I had a team of creatives who, understood what we're doing, and we're like, okay, we could do this, we could do that. Eagerly anticipating it. Oh, I read that one. Eric says, it was a nice way to say thank you and goodbye to Veronica without going overboard. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to do the whole thing about, oh, I did that last week. It wasn't even the whole thing, it was just the end. But I said all the nice stuff last week. And this week was, we were talking at dinner. She goes, everybody's acting like I'm dying or moving away. Like Cam, according to Veronica, last week, when we were all going out to dinner, they stayed after in the parking lot and talked for a bit. And Cam seemed like he was ready to cry. And he was acting like she was going to be, like she's moving to Montana or something. And she's like, and he even initiated the hug. Can't put your arm around him. He just um, he doesn't like when you touch his ears. So that was a big deal, that he's the one who initiated the hug. So, yeah. But she's not dying. She's not moving away. She's just got a full-time job like a normal adult, and she's not going to be able to get here at 5:30. And even if we change the time, it's still, she just doesn't have the flexibility in her schedule anymore to do too many regular extracurricular things, is how I would phrase it. So, like, she doesn't have the time to every Thursday be there, even if we changed it to 6, So it's it is what it is. It is what it is. And this year she hasn't really been on a lot. She's taken on other, and this is what I'm talking about. While we were not doing the show, she started doing the roundtable board, and that was something she wasn't doing while we were doing the show. But then she took that on because we weren't doing the show. And even though people know that they're going to go back to it, you forget that you're going to go baback to it, and then you go, oh shit, I did this while we were away. And so it wasn't really consistent, and I guess it all worked out, I guess, the way it's supposed to. I had a lot of fun doing it with Ronnie. It was a great time. A great time. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, Ghost. Good morning, Zach. Morning, Marie. T-minus 24 minutes, so I leave work, go back home and pack the car to head to Gettysburg. There you go. And P.S., I've had that song going through my head all morning. See, now I have one sweet blah, blah, blah. I have one sweet day going through my head now, and I can't remember it's Say Goodbye, yeah. It was I told him after the show, next week I'll have the outtakes of that, because in the middle of, so at first I'm trying to just get my voice moving, right? And I'm like not really focusing on the words. I'm just trying to somewhat sing close to on key. And so I'm not really focusing. But then once I start warming up, I'm actually paying attention to the words, and I realize it's about, dead people. And then so all of a sudden the images of my grandparents start floating through my head while I'm singing it. And in the middle of one of the notes, I start getting choked up. And then I had to stop because I couldn't compose myself. And so I stopped and I started cracking up because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to do this thing, and I just start laughing because I realized how beautiful it was as a song. It's a beautiful song, beautiful sentiment in the song, and it made me think. And then it also made me realize I am sad that Veronica's not going to do this anymore. And look, somebody had said a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, a couple of videos ago, I should say, oh my God, none of the original crew is there. Eric's gone, Veronica's gone. And I said then, and I'll say it again, I don't pay these people. I don't expect them to do more than one show. And the fact that they stuck around for as long as they did is a gift to me. And I don't take it lightly, and I appreciate the hell out of it. But I never expected them to be in for the long haul. It's one thing if it's like, yeah, okay, here, we're doing really well. I can pay you, what do you make a year? I make $100,000. Okay, I'll pay $110,000 to stay with me. Okay, great. So they quit their job, and then we do things full time, and we build it together because we're all making money and everything. It's great. It's another thing to be like, well, you just help me out and stick with me, and someday I'll get that magic number of patrons, and then I'll be able to afford to pay you. Well, who the hell's going to put their life on hold for someday? Nobody lives that way. So it was amazing to me that they gave me whatever time they gave me. Eric was with me all the time, and he really was instrumental in helping me keep this going. Because there were points that absolutely would have quit. The first time was when we got kicked out of the. Well, we didn't get kicked out. I shouldn't say it that way. But we were over at the old radio station, which is currently the office of Destination Gettysburg. It was back then, too. It's a whole new staff now. But I had, talked to, I think she was the vice president, and I was like, hey, if you got those on-air booths just, sitting there as closets, maybe we could move in there and stuff. So she talked to the president, and then we had a couple of meetings, and they're like, okay, I can move in. And so I moved in for free, and I was like, do you want a commercial or anything? And they were like, oh, no, because I'm like, I really appreciate you doing this for me. Like, let me do something for you. But that crew didn't get it. I think the current crew does. But anyway, that when COVID hit, they're like, I got an email, and they're like, so you need to get your stuff out because no one's allowed in the building anymore. We're going to be working from home, and it's just going to be a skeletal crew here. It was springtime, coming. And for the first few episodes, I think there's a Devil's Den episode. We might allude to the fact that we're sitting out there wrapped in blankets because it was like late March, I think, and we were freezing. And we were sitting around there, and Bob Steenstra, he really fell for it all. And so he was up on a little round top. We had to get many, many microphone cables to extend from Devil's Den to Little Round Top. For Bob. And then, so once we got through the cold spell there at the end of winter, it was actually quite pleasant that year to record. But I do believe that was Eric's idea, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I would have quit if it weren't for Eric. Point is, Eric was a huge help and helped me kind of get through. I don't even think he was aware of it, but moments where I was very ready to just give up the ghost. Not give up the ghost, but give it up. So him, Veronica, and now, Colby, everybody, Debbie, all these people that have come along to help out, I appreciate, because for the time that they were there, the time that they gave me, they helped a great deal. And I always say, I do everything. Well, I do all the work, but they just, other people are there to assist in different ways. Like Veronica was there to really, I think, make AG Today work. I've always been looking for a female co-host who looks like a dude, yet at certain times can get emotional. And I can play the sappy music to continue to try to make her continue to cry. And then, but, doesn't put up with any bullshit, gives it right back, has a good sense of humor. It's very hard to find. I scoured for 20 years, and so finally found Veronica. So I got to do that, and it set the tone for the show. And Bethany is very similar to Veronica, so she'll make a good a replacement. And I'm looking forward to that too. And I think, and I'm bringing on, other people behind the scenes and stuff. So I think what we're going to do is, we'll have a meeting and we'll be like, all right, what can we do here to make it better, but not different. But it is going to be different because the personnel has changed. So what can we do, like, to make it a little more? I want it to be a little more sleek. But so we'll see. We'll see. We might come back after the new year with a different thing. Not different, but a slightly different thing. One Sweet Day is also about dead people too, though, and I know you're shining. Yeah, of course exactly. That's why. That's the melodrama of the whole thing, was to do songs about dead people. It's like, as opposed to like a relationship breakup, which they're a dime a dozen. I was like, no, let me go really melodramatic here and make it seem like she's dead. so that was the idea there, yeah. But I should have got. It's hard to sing. It's hard to sing. It's one thing to sing in the car or in the shower, but when you record it and you can hear just how off you are, that's painful. And then to keep on going. Go, God, man, this sounds awful. Let me try. Take 3. Russell says, Eric and Veronica are pieces of the foundation and will come back when they can. Much laughter was had with you all, and we will keep going forward. New people already here, Colby and Deb. Yeah. And look, I think I've proven that I know how to pick them. Right? There's people who have been, come on your show, I want to talk about this. And I'm like, no. Because okay, here's some more podcast advice, unsolicited podcasting advice. We'll go down this way. You're going to do a podcast. Of course, you have to think about yourself, right? You're going to be spending a lot of time doing it, so is it going to be worth your time? What are you getting out of it? Is it just fun? Are you trying to do something that has a public value? Okay, then are you getting that feeling? Do you feel that you're doing that? Blah, 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 blah. Either way, though, tied with your own self-interest has got to be the interest of the audience. And you have to figure out who is your audience. Who are you targeting? I'd stupidly say everybody, but if I really think about it, I think I told you a few days ago about my friend Jay back home, who always said history was boring, but every time I went to his house, he had the History Channel on. And I realized, I don't mean to say it this way, but I can't think of a better term. The lowest common denominator wants bells and whistles. And so you got to give them bells and whistles if you want to convert them. So my goal is not to preach to the choir. It's to convert the masses. It's to get those people, to get my friend Jay, who thinks history is boring, and prove to him that it's not. It was just the way it was presented to him that makes him think that way. And I still don't think he's ever listened to the show. But my point is that that's who I'm thinking of. And wouldn't you know it, I hear from people say, I stumbled on this on YouTube. I always thought it was boring, but there's something about the blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, good. I got a J. But you gotta think of your audience. And then once you have your audience, you've got to kind of make an aggregate of all the stuff that they're saying to you. What they like, what they don't like, what works, what doesn't, which I guess is the same thing. Maybe they have good ideas and they offer them to you. And always consider them. You don't have to take them, but always consider them and thank them for it. And just, that's how you adjust, and that's how you keep fresh, is you listen to if you think that you know it all and you've got it all covered and you don't need any help from anybody, and you're just going to keep doing this, you're going to see your audience peak and then dwindle. And I hope to God I never take that attitude. You got to constantly remind yourself that, okay, yeah, it's working for you, but where did I leave off? They don't love you. Their job is not to food. It's your job to make sure that you don't piss them off. Your one off-color comment, your one controversial, your one sign that you take them for granted away from losing them all. And that's kind of like terrifying. Yeah, every day to wake up and remind yourself of that. But it's also, good in some ways because it keeps you kind of focused, it keeps you kind of grounded. Um, so I don't know why I went on that whole thing, but it wasted a good mile. So there you go. Then you should have gone with the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. God, what a great... Ty, move here and write for me, please. God. Why do you come up with these ideas after the fact? When Ronnie sat down to wear her crown as Queen of addressing Gettysburg today, she thought that she couldn't and said that she shouldn't, but Matt said, shut up, do it anyway. In those words, like, parody. I didn't have the time for that. I was going to do that with whatever the hell the song is that I did, but then I was like, nah, I'm just going to pepper in sound bites of Veronica. Play it straight. The End by The Doors would have worked. I love that song. Yeah, that one, too depressing, too slow and meandering, and that doesn't translate well. You gotta do, and it's kind of obscure, like, only Doors fans know The End. Everybody knows Light My Fire, but only Doors fans really know The End. So it's, but everybody remembers Boyz II Men. Well, maybe people under a certain age remember Boyz II Men. The bulk of my audience remembers Boyz II Men. Good morning, Mark. How are you? Eric, your format is great because it's a conversation about history with your guests, which make it more inviting. Been listening to some of the stuff on PCN, and while interesting, it can get boring. It can get boring. It is boring. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not, again, that, so I'm assuming you're talking about like walks and talks and book talks and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't watch PCN. But that it's boring because it's preaching to the choir. Like, they know that most of the people that are going to watch these things are people who are already interested in the stuff. They're not trying to recruit or convert history haters to history lovers. They're trying to, they're trying to fill time, is honestly what they're trying to do. The PCN doesn't have any, they've got time. That's what they do. That's what they all do. People who get pissed off from words are weak. Well, no kidding. No kidding. Jerry says, great send-off for Veronica last night. Bethany will do a great job, too. Absolutely, she will. You guys, who are patrons, you've heard them on now 2 episodes of That's What She Said. And, yeah. They're good, is my point. Going to be a wet day for Gettysburg tomorrow. Oh, really? That's going to suck for the movie location tour. Well, at least it's in the bus. I don't think they get out. Jerry says you've been blessed with surrounding yourself with great people who have the same passion as you. I have truly been blessed. Not only with the people within arm's reach, but you guys, even the freeloaders. And I know I tease, but like seriously, the freeloaders eventually they become supporters in drips and drabs, but they do. Really, if you look at the conversion rate, it's pretty pathetic. So we get like 100,000 views and downloads a month, and I think I've got less than 500 patrons. So it doesn't really, you know, you gotta get a lot of freeloaders before you could get a lot of subscribers, and that's just the way it works. But it all helps because the freeloaders watch, they listen, they like, they comment, they share, they subscribe. I mean, I get every week YouTube sends a weekly update, like analytics, so I see what happens on YouTube. It tells me how many likes and comments and subscribes and things I get, and it surprises me actually. So I can see that, and then I can see the analytics on the other platforms that we have, and it's all good. It's all going in the right direction. And I have to remind myself of the old adage, slow and steady wins the race. So, I just keep reminding myself of that. I'm grateful for it. And I've always been lucky that I had good people around me. And I guess they say, birds of a feather flock together, but I'm like, well, then what am I doing here? And whatever, who cares? As long as I'm here at the table. Oh, baby, one sweet day. Now I got that stupid song in my head. Oh wait, where am I going? Forgot we're going through to the Hill of Culp. Ghost says your interactions with the guests are great, but your ability to carry the show like these drives and keep us engaged and responding is special. And of course, your fellow Gettysburgers are great. Yeah, I like to talk. I think I look at this as like a therapy session. Because there's really, there's really nobody to talk back. I mean, you could talk back in the comments, but I could just not look at them. And I could just totally filibuster and get whatever the hell I want to get off my chest, and move on with my day. But yeah, you always have to be prepared to talk alone, because sometimes you get a guest in there who just doesn't know how to give you answers, and was generally an old man by 1863 standards. Yes, I would say he was. Okay, care to elaborate on that? No, they don't, and then it's like pulling teeth. So you got to be able to kind of, I don't know, it's work. I'm not going to say, it is easy. It's easy for me, but it's work. I mean, it's exhausting. It's draining. It drains ya. Let's do our morning drive-by at Getty's Bike. Do I see anybody I can harass? No. Oh, there's Bob. I can harass Bob again. Nah, he's getting ready for the tour. Good to see lots of people. Gettysburg is moving the sheds from where they are to across the other side of the lot, which I actually like that spot better. I think that's a better place to put things because the number one reason is because the Tauron is less likely to stop there to ask where the visitor center is. Oh, that's what I say, but we all know that's not true. They'll walk the extra mile to ask a question and annoy me, so I stand corrected. Mark says, Bethany was great. Sorry I missed meeting Veronica. Again, she's not dead, Mark. There's plenty of opportunity in the future. I'm sure you'll meet her. I don't think she realized until last night how much people actually love her. And she poo-poos her contribution to the show and everything. But I see it and hear all the comments. And I'm pretty certain that if I missed a show and she was there with everybody else, everybody would like it. And frankly, probably be like, you should just let her do it. And then because you're always talking about you need a break, let her do it. And you take a break. But the problem is I can't let people in the building unless So, I think the thing is we need to have a Let's Get Ronnie Back campaign. And that means that we need, let me think here, let me do some thinking. We need to get us up to 2,500 patrons to be able to afford to take from her. No, wait. Yeah, about that. But they need to be one of the lieutenants. That's the problem. So, with your help, spreading the word and encouraging people to become patrons, we can get our Ronnie back. Jerry also says last night's segment with Pete was awesome, as usual with him. Yeah, it was. He's a good sport. Because I don't think he knew that I pulled that clip of him saying he was as erect. What did he say? He was as erect as I am now, or something like that. So I was a little nervous about. I wanted to work it in. I was waiting for a moment to do it, and I almost had one. And he gave me a pause. He said I think he said something like, and I said, and there was a little bit of a pause, but I couldn't get to the button fast enough, and then he started talking again. Ty Webb says, I was one of the Mooch to Minion converts. I still think 85% of what I listen to is the free feed, though. I love all the content, but the Ask a Guides are what keeps me hooked. Yeah, I got to give my friend Pete credit for that. I did the first episode I put out was the narrative episode, Antietam to Chancellorsville. And so I put it out, and then I was like, shit, that took me 6 months to do, from soup to nuts. And now I got to do another one, another 6 months. This is going to take forever. And Pete was like, why don't you do like supplemental episodes? You call it like Ask a Gettysburg Guide, but make sure Gettysburg is in there because people search for Gettysburg guides on YouTube, and so they'll be more likely to find it. I was like, it's a good idea. So I did. And originally it was just whatever. Whatever questions people sent in, we asked. But then we decided to focus it on one topic. And the Ask a Guides were supposed to be filler. My original thinking was that the narratives were going to set us apart from everybody else, and that was going to be what people liked. And by God, I still am going to continue doing them because people do like them. On YouTube, the most viewed video is the narrative. It's got like 100 and something thousand views, which is awesome. But yeah, anyway, so the Ask a Guides were supposed to be filler in between narratives, and I honestly didn't think people would respond as well as they did to them. I'm glad they did, but I was surprised. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can't, some people, this is a very rookie mistake when you start a podcast. You have an idea of what you want to do, and you do it, and nobody likes it. And you go, well, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to keep doing it, which is fine. You're going to keep not having an audience. But you have to listen to advice sometimes. If it comes from good people, I don't mean like good people like they're, good-hearted people, although they tend to be. But I'm saying if it comes from a reliable advice giver. My friend Pete gives me very good advice. Often, not always, but often. But usually more than everybody else does. And so I tend to listen to it. I tend to trust his judgment on certain things. So I was like, all right, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll do that. And it worked. So, yeah, that old saying, it takes a village, blah, blah, blah. Well, it takes, not a village, but it takes people who can put their ego aside and put their, well, I started out to do it this way aside and adapt and adjust and listen to advice. All right. You're the straw that stirs the drink, Matt. Oh, that's a clever one. I never heard that one before. Thank you, Ghost. Thank you. Ty Webb, I read that one. Sorry. Don't know where your feathers went, Matt, but you're definitely a bird, and bird is the word. Oh, God, Kevin, please don't get me started on that. Jerry says, I love it when you go off on a rant. Thank you. Ghost says, I like supporting content I care about. I also support ABT and other history projects. There you go. Mark says, Matt, by the way, apropos of nothing, I saw the movie Gettysburg in the theater 10 times back in 1993 while I was in college. So basically, I spent over 40 hours in a movie theater. Oh, my God. Wow. I mean, in my lifetime, I've probably spent over 400 hours. No, wait, my math is Catholic school math here, folks. 40,000 hours watching. I mean, that's probably not true, but still a lot. I wore out one double VHS set from watching it so much. Jennifer says, has anybody listened to the Broadway musical The Civil War by Frank Wildhorn? It played in Gettysburg for a few years. Such wonderful music. No, I never did. But that, sorry, Sarah. Yes, I was chewing gum. I spit it out now. That sounds familiar. It didn't do very well, right? It didn't last very long, the Civil War. I think I remember that. I didn't see it, but I think I remember getting douche chills from the idea of it. Have a good day, Russell. The play had a great soundtrack. Really? Huh. I was not aware of that. All right. I need to get coffee. I got a lot of shit to do today. I'll do live streams if I can during the festivities if something is interesting. If I can get one of the actors to sit and talk with me for a little bit, we'll do live streams from the studio. We'll see what I can do. I know the one thing I'm doing is that panel at ACHS tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Joseph and Bozef. And yeah. So come on out if you're able. I don't know if it's so we were looking at it's confusing if you look at the website, it's confusing to see. It says Joseph Fuqua and Bo Brinkman 10:30, but that's when they're signing. So we're doing our thing at 9. So just be aware of that. The schedule is kind of, some people have been confused by it, and it doesn't indicate if these types of panels are sold out. I mean, I think like the Tom Berenger one obviously is, but and they would put that there because I'm sure everybody wants to see that one. But anyway, and also I have a feeling, and I don't know where this will be, but I've been seeing and hearing some things around that makes me think that we're going to be surprised by Martin Sheen somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know when, but that's what I think. Call it a hunch, woman's intuition, I don't know. But I just have a feeling. So, I will talk to you guys later. This afternoon, I'm supposed to do a live stream with Jonathan Rothman, play General Reynolds. That'll be for free. I'm not going to put that behind a paywall because it's anniversary weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We're celebrating the anniversary of the movie Gettysburg. So I'll talk to you later.